because you'll be a veteran for life, and this shows that you're supporting veterans 100 years from now. Think about that, because your name will still be on the rolls every year when they get your membership dues, even after you pass. All right. Bylaw section 110 talks about rights of members, okay? So let's go through what those are. First off, you have to be eligible for the Veterans of Foreign Wars. That can be found in section 100 of the bylaws. Go through all of that. Talk to your recruiters, talk to those people, look at the eligibility. And I know with the introduction of the internet and copy and paste, there are millions of fake 214s out there because everybody wants to be you. They just don't want the nightmares you have, right? I'll gladly switch them. I'd rather be a broke tax-paying citizen than have Freddy Krueger in my head every night. So, your dues must be paid for the year. I think we've already established that. Your membership must not have been suspended or terminated. Now that can only happen through an Article 9 process. How many of us have heard, well, the Post is going to make a motion to kick you out of the VFW? And the Post makes a motion, somebody seconds it, and they say, you're kicked out of the VFW. Is that lawful?
Nope.
Absolutely not. If that has happened to you and you'd like to get back into your VFW, please come see me. I'd be glad to be your advocate for whatever injustice has happened to you there. All right. Also know that if that injustice happened and I find out about it, I'm going to tell you the following words. Brother, sister, we're going to have a conversation that you're not going to like. So just know that. All right. So if you're eligible for the VFW, your dues are paid, and you're not suspended, you're entitled to all membership rights. So let's start with those. You have the right to transfer. I saw that. The snake tried to get me there. You have the right to transfer from one post to another post. Right? That's a right. I can transfer my membership. Now, do you have to prove your eligibility at the new post?
Yes.
Yes, in every single situation. Let me give you a red flag out there. If somebody says, well, I'm already a member, I don't have to prove my eligibility, that should be red flag number 1. And you say, brother, sister, you got to show me your eligibility because it says so in our bylaws. If you don't want to show me that, what are you hiding? And don't be surprised if you get a 214. Even with today's technology of copy and paste, it's handwritten on there. I see a lot of those. Combat Action Ribbon, Combat Action Badge. I saw a Marine one that said Combat Action Medal. Do Marines get Combat Action Medals?
Nope.
No. But if you're a Air Force guy, you don't know that. So you write that on there anyway. All right. So the new post that you want to transfer to, they do not have to accept you. Okay? They don't. All right? There are some posts that are made up of nothing but police officers. Believe this or not. There are some posts that are firemen. There are some posts that are just all sailors and coasties. So I know it's not right. It's not fair. You could petition it, but it's up to those individual members there to decide who becomes a member of the post. All right? So I want y'all to think of this. When you're a member of a post, you're a co-owner in everything that post has. You can't use it for your own personal benefit. You got to use it for the benefit of the good. Can the post hire and fire people? Sure, they can hire people, fire them, they can pay them salaries, whatever. All right? But if you decide you want to transfer to a post, as is your right, just know that post you want to transfer to does not have to accept you. So don't write me the letter saying, I wanted to transfer to a post, saying transfer me, I want to do an Article 9 on them. It doesn't work that way. They have every right to tell you, we don't want you as a member. I will tell you, in my 29 years at the VFW, I've only seen it once, and that's only because the post said, no, we only allow police officers in here. I'm like, well, okay, if you're going to be that way, be that way. All right? All right. You have the right to challenge. Okay? You have the right to challenge another member's eligibility, but only if that person is a member in your post. You go to the district meeting, you see somebody you know never deployed, you can challenge it all day long, but nobody can act on it because you're not a member of that post. Can you inform the post leadership? Yes. Can that post leadership then act on it? By all means. If you're really good at politics, you have a state commander come visit you one day, you tell the state commander, that guy ain't eligible, can you challenge him for me? You might slip him a 20, I don't know, sometimes that just gets things done faster. The state commander can challenge any member within the department, but you as an individual member can only challenge members' eligibility in your post. You also have the right to challenge eligibility if you wanted to see you're getting ready to read somebody in, because we all know how that goes. Are there any are there any applications for membership? And quartermaster or the adjutant says, yes, I got Joe Smith, John Doe, and Private Smiley here. And they all go, I'll make a motion to accept them. And somebody might say, well, where'd they serve? Well, one served in Iraq, 2 served in Afghanistan, boom. All right. You have the right to say, I'd like to see their proof of eligibility. You can do that there. You had a question, sir? Okay, my hearing aid, one of my hearing aids I got from Saddam Hussein died, so there is a microphone here. But what I think I heard you say is, do you have the right to challenge people that, like, within your district leadership? Only if they're from your post. Okay? The district commander cannot come to your post and challenge a member's eligibility. Does that make sense? Now, if that member is part of the district team, he's got the right to send it to the state commander and say, can you help me verify whether this person's eligible or not? And then it goes to the state commander who can make a decision at that point. But you can only challenge if you're in that post. So as district commander, you can't. Now, you raise an interesting question. You're the district commander, you go to a post not your own, you're asked to check the proof of eligibility of all elected and appointed officers on file, right? It's on that inspection form. You go through there and you're looking at, you see that the post senior vice just has a National Defense Service Medal, nothing else. Do you have the right to challenge at that time? You do, but you have to send it to the state commander. You cannot what I would suggest you do is say, hey brother, this isn't complete. I need to know where you served at, because he might have orders saying he served in Korea, or he might have a citation saying he got a Purple Heart while he was in Kandahar, or whatever, all right? But just that one document alone may not be enough. They may have several different ones, all right? This is not how are we going to prove eligibility class, because I could get into that all day long, all right? You have the right to challenge election results. You're at the post meeting, they made you the post commander, it's the first time you ever been there. Do you have the right to say, no, I don't want to be the post commander? You absolutely, positively too, but God bless you because none of you ever have. So you just say, well, how hard can it be? And they say it's an hour a week. You know, you're like, okay, I can do this. I get to appoint people. What's an adjutant? I never heard of the word adjutant. You know, is that some guy on a horse, or what is that? You know, so, all right. You can challenge election results. We've all seen those close races, too close to call. You can challenge the election results. You don't have to be the person that's running. You can be just a person. You can say, I want to challenge those election results. I think there's been some improprieties or whatever. Here's the thing about challenging election results. It has to be done prior to the close of the meeting that you're currently in. If you wait 3 days and you say, hey, I want to challenge these election results because I called so-and-so and I found this out, too late, too bad, so sad. It's already happened. All right, so you'll have to wait another year, get you a bigger bus, bring more members that vote the way you want them to vote, and then you can take over as commander for your first year and 1 day in the position, all right? All right, so you have the right to challenge. You have the right to be a life member. I see your question. Everybody knows you have the right to upgrade to life member, right? You're all like, well, Dan, we already know that. You already made us self-identify, so, all right. Yes, sir.
That wasn't the question I was going to ask. I know you just said you challenge the vote. My question is there a process? Is there a process that you have to go through during elections? And if that process is not held to what's there in the bylaws, can you challenge that?
Okay, so your question is there a process to challenge in an election results? All right, I am not a parliamentarian. For that, you would need to see Josh. I'll tell you how I would do it. Oh, hell no. You just stop the horses right here. I'm challenging these election results. All right, and if you think I'm not doing it in the right way, well, adjutant, write it up the right way. But I'm challenging these damn election results right here, right now. And then get it solved. You may not be victorious. And the commander may have to make a ruling. These are the results. That's 22. Boom, he closes the meeting. The fact that you challenge those election results could be used later on if it becomes necessary. Does that make sense?
It makes sense.
I know.
My question was actually about that process. Hypothetically, two candidates were running against each other. Last year, both candidates got a chance to speak and make their statement why they were running for that position. This year, the two people are running against each other. No one was able to make a statement of why they were running for that position. So that's why I'm saying, is there a process or guideline that must be
So that's a completely different question than what membership rights are, but I'll answer that real fast. Did you know you're in one of the world's weirdest and most strangest organizations? Because for 125 years, we changed leadership at every level, every year. What other organization does that? So it could be the difference from one commander to the next. It could be the fact that both people for running for office are public speaking shy, or they were never given an opportunity, or they never asked for that opportunity. There is no set way in Robert's or our bylaws to say candidates get opportunity to speak. It's a courtesy that most commanders afford to allow the members to hear. A member could have said, hey, we want to hear from the candidates. I've been to several times where people wanted to hear from me and all my opponents referred to me for the question they got asked. It was fun. So anyway, there's no set way to do that. All right, it's up to the commander. All right, y'all know you can be a life member. You can also upgrade to legacy life. So you know if you upgrade to legacy, you can get a discount in the store. How many of y'all think those store prices are too much? How many of you would like a 15% discount on those prices?
Go gold.
Then you need to be a gold legacy life member. I get mine and use it all the time. And well, my wife does actually, so anyway. All right, as a member, you have the right to attend meetings. Your post meeting, your district meeting, your department meeting, and the national convention. Do you have the right to attend another post meeting?
With the post commander's permission.
You do not have that right. However, you should request permission and be admitted by that post commander as a guest. And that's covered, I believe, in section 203. Guests on official business are always called upon, but guests who are not there on official business can have a say, but only if called upon. So yes, you'll have to sit in the back and raise your hand, and if you're never called on, well, you're never called on. Generally, the commander will call on. Do you have the right to just stand up and start blurting out? No, you're a guest. Yeah, you don't have that right. You can be gavel down, they can kick you out. As a guest, you never have the right to vote at somebody else's post, district, or department. You can always, and we'll cover your delegate rights here in just a minute, okay? So no, You can go to other posts, but you're considered a guest. At your district meeting, you'll always have a say, but you'll have to be a delegate to cast a vote. Same at the department, same at the national convention here. Another right you have, how many of us enjoy the freedom of speech? You have freedom of speech at your post, but only at your post. Your district, your department, and of course here at the national, okay? But you can only speak there. That's when you have the freedom to stand up, discuss things, make motions, second motions, all that good stuff. As a guest, you can only speak, but if recognized, and you can always speak here at the national convention. They got rules for it. You got to stand up, you got to state your name, you got to state what post you're from, what city you're from, you'll state your thing, but we limit it to you can only talk like 2 times. So don't think you're going to get up there and get a debate like some people like to do, all right? All right. You have the right to vote. How many of us enjoy the right to vote? All right. You have the right to vote at every post meeting you go to. Yay, nay, abstain is not a vote. All right. You're men and women of a foreign war conflict. State your purpose here. I love letters I get to say signed anonymous. You must have come from the Legion. I don't know, because the men and women I know in this organization stood up in full view of the enemy and said, nanny, nanny, boo, boo, here I am. I locked and loaded. You know what I mean? So, all right. Right to vote. You can vote at your district, department, and national, but only if you were elected as a delegate at your post. So, every year, post has to elect delegates. These delegates serve as delegates at the district meeting, at the department meeting, and then they can also do that at the national one. So if you're coming here, you need to let your post know, hey, I'm going to the national convention this year. I'd like to be a delegate. Campaign with the people in your post, all 4 of them, and just tell them, hey, I want to be a delegate. I guarantee you they're probably going to elect you as a delegate. As a delegate, though, you need to attend your district meetings so you can vote on matters there. You need to attend your department meetings. Usually it's the convention where you'll get to vote. And then, of course, the national convention. As a delegate, you get the right to vote. We also have this thing called alternate. So a post may say you're entitled to this many votes. Everybody know how they figure that out? 1 delegate vote for every 30 members or partial thereof. Okay? So if you have 90 members in your post, how many votes does your post get?
3.
3 votes, plus the post commander gets a vote. All right? If you're the only delegate that shows up from your post, how many votes do you get to cast?
All of them.
You get to cast all of them, except the commander's vote. If the commander is the only person that shows up, what option does he have?
All of them.
He can cast the 3 votes or his 1 vote as the commander. Does that make sense? Clear as mud, right?
We've had a big discussion about that on our part. If the commander's only one,
Hold on, Ted. I know what you're saying. You're saying that if the department, at your department convention, you have to register at your department conventions. How many of you have ever registered at a district meeting? At a department, you have to register and you have to declare prior to voting, I'm voting as the post commander or I'm voting as the delegate. So I understand what you're saying there. All right? It's when you have to declare how you're voting, which happens at a state convention, also happens at the national convention. I love getting the past department commanders who say they vote delegate. I say, no, sir, you registered as a past department commander. You got to cast that vote. So, all right. You have the right to hold office. Yes, ma'am.
Just to follow up on that, legacy life members, you were just saying they stay on the roll. Do those members count towards the number of delegates we get if they're legacy members on our post?
Yes, if you're still alive.
So, right, that's what I'm saying. You said legacy, they continue
Yes.
to pay.
If you're a legacy member and you have passed away, your post will continue to get the $8, $12, or $16, $18, I'm not sure what it is, but there's,
6, 12, 18.
you'll continue to get money, but your right to cast a vote die when you die. And that's actually a legal doctrine that was established. Yes, all right. No, you can't.
He
go
comes
get
off
all
mem
those
stats.
Can't get those dead legacy members to vote for you. Are you from South Texas? You have the right to hold office in your post, in your district, in your department, even at the national level. You have that right to hold office, to campaign for it, all that good stuff. I know my glasses broke. It's a weird thing. So, all right. Right to be informed of post business operations. All right. How many of y'all have canteens? All right. So, as a member of your post, let's say you've missed a few meetings. Make an appointment with your post quartermaster, your adjutant, your commander. Go down to the post. You can ask, say, hey, what's going on with the canteen? Why is it losing money? Why is it making money? What's this? You have the right to know what the business operations are. And I know a lot of you with canteens will have house rules or canteen rules, or we got this club committee and they're super secret. Bullshit. Tell you right now. Your canteen committee, your house committee, your whatever it is committee reports to the post membership. You as a post member have the right to know what's going on in those post operations, all right? Can I get a hallelujah? Hallelujah. There we go. Yes, ma'am.
Question about minutes. I'm the adjutant, Artie Uhlendorf, post 4558, Jacksonville, Arkansas. New adjutant, just joined in March. The minutes that I'm doing is as complete as I can make them, and that's the ones that we're posting. So members can come in and read those and know what happened at the last meeting. The ones I read at the meeting is a synopsis. It doesn't go into all the details. Is that the way it's supposed to be done?
Let's talk afterwards, because yes and no. All right, here's the main reason. If you take minutes, like you record what every person said, that can be used against you as libel or slander.
Okay.
Minutes should only record what was done, not what was said.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'll talk to you after.
All right. Next question, or the next right you have. You have the right to question everything. Commander, why'd you do that? Quartermaster, why are your books this way? Adjutant, how come you're doing this? Trustees, how come you didn't come count all the beer 3 days a week like you're supposed to do, you know? You have the right to question everything. You're probably not going to get an answer you like at some point along the way, but you still have the right to question, okay? So be inquisitive, be informative. You can question anything and everything. And I will tell you, one of the big red flags to somebody hiding something they shouldn't be doing, well, if you don't like this job, you can do it your damn self. How many of y'all heard that? How do you think I got promoted? I came to work every day trying to get fired, and all I did was get promoted. So, all right, as a member, you have the right to appeal. And let's talk about this, because this is what I consider your most important right. Section 109 of the bylaws gives every member the right to appeal the decisions of a commander at any level, as long as you are the aggrieved member. All right? Dumb example. I don't like people with short haircuts, so they can't buy beer at the bar. Are you an aggrieved member now? Well, if you got short hair, you're an aggrieved member. You can appeal that. Now, Section 109 tells you how to do that. You got to write out what the action was, how you're aggrieved, and what you want to see happen. And then it goes up to that next chain of command. So at the post level, it actually goes to the district commander. It's really the only time they get any authority. They can help make that decision. Guess what? Let's say you don't like the decision of the district commander. Now what can you do? You have the right to appeal it up to the state commander, and then up to the commander-in-chief, and then up to the council of administration. And yes, we get those at the council level. Guess what happens if the council tells you something?
Fine.
That's it. No more appeals, all right? So we've seen that happen, okay? So you have the right to appeal anything under 109. 109 does not involve disciplinary action. Disciplinary action is covered under Article 9. Now, I want to tell you, here lately, it seems like we have a preponderance to weaponize the bylaws against our members. How many of us believe it's okay to make a mistake? All right. How many of us believe if that mistake is pointed out or we discover that mistake, we should try to fix it, move on, not make that mistake again, right? So sometimes we make mistakes as members, either because we don't know it or just because it happened. And I've seen, I've got one now. You didn't read the label on the bottle, so we're going to kick you out of the VFW. First off, it's not in the bylaws. All right? You can only do it if it's in the bylaws. And I want to tell you, how many of us think stealing money from veterans is a bad thing? Yeah, that's in the bylaws, all right? So that's an automatic Article 9 there. But try to mentor. Our Article 9 process is reserved for the most egregious. All right? Everybody heard of the 3 strikes? Hey, I caught you doing this. I told you not to do it. They come back several months, a year later, they do it again. You say, look, you can't be doing this. All right? Then the 3rd time they do it, maybe do the disciplinary. You can still do it on the 1st time, but I've had to send several back because, let's face it, there are some things that are ridiculous and you waste our time and it distracts from the work of our organization. So try to work that out. Try to get some mentorship, all right? Besides, the guy you kick out's got friends. Do you think he's going to tell them the truth? No. I'll never join the VFW again. They wouldn't let me in. And when I came in, they kicked me out. Well, that might be, that's the story he's telling everybody. The truth was he came in, he stole money, he got caught, did some time in jail, still hasn't paid us back, right? We can defend that one. But when you're kicking somebody out because they came in the canteen and they dropped an F-bomb during a football game, that a little extreme? It is a little extreme, but it's happening. So I'd caution you. If you are ever served with disciplinary action, you have to be notified that you have the right to appeal. We have a form letter, it's in the back of our bylaws. It says you have the right to appeal this. You have the right to know what the charges are against you, what the specifications are. You have the right to all of the information that is being used against you to file these charges. If you don't have any of that stuff, they violated the process. And do not look at it and say it's a joke. I'll tell you, we had one where a comrade went into his post. The post was in a church. The church was one that believed in the right to carry a sidearm. He doesn't believe that. Stood up at a meeting, said, I don't think we should be meeting here because families don't want to come here if they know people are carrying guns. He sat down. They did an Article 9 on him, sent it to him registered, certified mail. He signed for it, he read it, thought it was a joke, threw it in the trash. Guess who got kicked out of the VFW?
You did.
They did. So if you're ever hit with an Article 9, you have that right. It'll tell you what it is. You can do a panel, you can do a summary disposition, you can negotiate your way out, but do not waive your rights, because you have those rights under Section 9, all right? All right. Also, Section 224, 25, 20, and 16 is removal from office. If you're an elected or appointed position, you can be removed from office, but there's a process for that. You have the right to appeal. You have the right to appear. Say you're at the post, you're the post commander, you get served a notification saying, we're going to vote to remove you from office because you have failed to do your duties under Section 218, whatever it is. They call that out. You go to that next meeting to defend yourself. You've got the right to do that. If you don't show up at that meeting, what's going to happen?
Automatic.
you're probably going to get removed from office. Removal from office is different than removal from the VFW. You have the right to express your opinion in person, on social media, all that good stuff. Your opinion, though, can violate our rules. Everybody remember, I will never divulge to a member not authorized to receive it, workings of this order. That's an oath. We take that serious. So don't go putting on Facebook how so-and-so did this down here at the post and that made you upset and you want to get the public's opinion on that. Don't do that. That doesn't look good to begin with. Keep your trash in your own house. Don't go spreading it all over social media, all right? If you get kicked out of the VFW and you go trashes, know this, we have an attorney on file, or he's on staff. He'll probably send you a letter saying, hey, don't do this, or there could be legal consequences. If you're upset with the VFW, say, I'm upset with the VFW for various reasons. Please PM me, or I'll talk to you in private about it, but don't go spreading all that on there. What we want you to do, though, is talk about, hey, look at all what we did out here, putting flags out at the cemetery. Look what we did here, help building a wheelchair ramp. Put all the good stuff you're doing on social media, because it's going to attract other people to you, all right? All right. When you're at meetings, you should follow the rules of decorum. No profanity, no yelling, no name calling, no throwing objects, no smoking, no alcohol, and no side conversations when others are addressing the membership. Pretty simple rules, right? All right. I've been known to drop an F-bomb every now and then, so I either give fair warning to the chaplain to close the Bible, or I just dig in my pocket and start digging out 20s. And it's $1 a fine, so, you know, sometimes you just got to be that old infantry platoon sergeant again, all right? You can be asked to leave or removed if you don't follow the rules of decorum. All right, some general rules listed in the ritual, because I get this question all the time. If you're able to stand, stand during the offering of prayers. Of course, if you're in a wheelchair with no legs, are we going to ask you to stand? No. But I've seen people get pretty stubborn about it because they'll say, well, he's got legs, he just refuses to wear them. That's his choice. Yeah, you know? So if you want to, you know, when they say the prayer, everybody knows you take your cover off, put it for the cross of Malta so it's facing out. Question? I can barely hear you, sir.
If I'm correct, you don't take your hat off until you are told to?
That is correct. Actually, it's not till you're told to. You follow the example of the chaplain.
Right.
I have seen some chaplains say,
Twice
keep your
today
covers
that
on.
happened in the joint meeting, and they never did tell us to remove our hats.
So you don't have to be told to remove your covers. You can just follow the example. If the chaplain takes his
He
off,
never removed his.
you should take it off. Sometimes the chaplain will come up here and say, keep your seats, keep your covers on, but let's say a quick prayer. I've seen that happen, all right? Let's say this. If they don't say take your covers off, is that an Article 9 disciplinary action?
Nope.
No, it's not. All right. Official caps will not be worn during luncheons, banquets, or other meals. All right? So how many of us go to our official banquets and our conventions and we see everybody getting these awards, and then you look at the pictures and you can't tell this is actually a VFW member giving an award to somebody because they don't have their cover on. It just says not to wear them during the banquets, the meals, or the luncheon. Afterwards, for the award ceremony, you can put your cover on then, all right? I do it to take pictures because I want somebody 50 years from now, yeah, that old cadre, I remember him. They're not going to know my name, but they're going to know I was a veteran. That's the important part, okay? There's the last one we get hit with. Official caps will be the only head covering allowed to be worn at regular meetings of the Veterans Foreign Wars of the United States. How many of us have heard of traumatic brain injury? It's a real thing, right?
TBI.
How many of us know that our members who have survived and suffer from traumatic brain injury, what's the one thing that really creates the issues in their head? Fluorescent lights. How many of you have fluorescent lights in your halls? So sometimes their doctors tell them to wear sunglasses or a bill. In fact, I had a good buddy of mine right here that never without his sunglasses, okay? Don't make him take it off if he's got a doctor's note, because I'm gonna tell you, that doctor's note trumps our damn bylaws, all right? Well, I'm gonna get in trouble. Adjutant General said them damn bylaws, so Article 9 me, so.
Wow.
All right, here's what I need y'all to do, because I've got another half of this class. Familiarize yourself with the National Bylaws Manuals Procedure, specifically Section 109, Section 221, which is suspension and revocation of charter, is basically when your post doesn't do the stuff it's supposed to. Section 220, vacancies and removal of elected officers or committee members. Section 222, delegates. Section 213, arrearages, deficiencies, and omissions. That's generally by the post. If that happens, the post doesn't have the right for its delegates to cast a vote because you owe money. Like the IRS, you owe money, you ain't voting. Maybe if the IRS did that, I don't think so. People don't vote that much anymore. Section 215, eligibility to office. Who's eligible to hold office? 223, commemorative tributes. And then Article 10, rules of order, okay? If you're ever unsure of procedures or actions, study the bylaws. You're gonna hear, I used to put them there in the crapper, and every time I went there, I'd open it up and read it. You know, sometimes it was 3 seconds long, sometimes 30 minutes, just depends on the business at hand. So, discuss with other post officers. Discuss with past post commanders. Discuss with post commanders from other posts. Discuss with district commander and/or district officers. Discuss with your state headquarters staff. Discuss with the state adjutant, and discuss with the state commander and department officers. Some additional resources for you would be the commander's guide, quartermaster's guide, trustee's guide, guide to protocol, parliamentary procedure, Robert's rules, presiding leadership practice. The national training videos, we've got a bunch on there now. You're going to start seeing more of those. And then the VFW discussion groups on Facebook. Chris, can I get you to stand up real fast? Guys, this is Chris Weber. All right, Chris Weber's out of the Department of Missouri. And in 2010, I started this thing called the Post Commander Discussion Group. Chris was one of my first guys. He's one of the administrators on there now. But he gives out good information. Don't be afraid to go on there and ask questions. I know our parliamentarian Joshua Schreck has one called the unofficial Facebook page. Don't be afraid to ask questions. We do a real good job at policing the bullies, all right? A really good job where we delete them and then permanently block them from ever coming back on. All right, real fast, let's get into, and comrades, it's just the down and dirty on all that. Let's talk about some post commander authority. How many post commanders in the room? How many of y'all want all of the authority in the world? Everybody's just going to do what you say and how you say it, right? Yeah, you come to the wrong crowd. All right. Where does the post commander get their authority? They get it from Section 218, duties and obligations of the post commander. There's a whole list of them. You can call it a job description if you want, but there are some unwritten things in there, all right? First thing you're going to do, you're going to preside at and conduct all meetings. Y'all want to know the number one reason why most people don't want to be a post commander?
Aggravation.
They don't want to talk in front of a crowd. That's it. Okay? That's it. So if you suck at counting money,
I suffer from
you
that
should be a
big time.
post commander.
I've worked through it.
Put it that way. So, you enforce strict observance of all laws and usages. Now, I know some guys that we called Nazi Pete or Nazi George. Somebody I think we called Hitler Sue. So is that a good connotation to have? They were strictly enforcing the rules of our organization, but they did it in a really mean way. I'll give you a clue. The best way you can ever do if you got to tell somebody is, hey, look, I got to have a conversation with you, and you're not going to like the discussion. So you just tell them right up front. I think what you're doing is wrong. Don't be doing this anymore. Then you're going to put me in a position where I got to do something. I really don't want to testify against you. You'd be surprised how much that works. With 9 times out of 10, they don't even know what they're doing was wrong to begin with. All right. So enforce strict observance of the rules of the laws and uses. Yes, that means when they're wearing baseball caps or another cap at an official meeting. This is not an official meeting. This is a training session. You're going to have to ask them to take their caps off unless they have a doctor's note saying they can wear it. Don't go out and forge doctor's note saying you're going to wear your ball cap. I would at least make sure the ball cap had a VFW emblem on it. So, all right. Insist that post business and activities are legal. Legal. Now you got to know all of the rules of the land, right? Because when the guy comes up and says, look, I've got this deal for you, but I can come up here and I can work for you, but I got to work under the table. But think of it this way, you don't got to pay employment taxes, you don't got to pay all this other stuff. Just pay me under the table, I'll be fine. Is that legal? No. I can name probably 15 different VFW posts that tried that, got busted by the IRS, and are no longer in business because they had all of their assets seized and taken from them. Okay? You decide all questions in your post subject to appeal. Somebody comes up and you says, Comrade Commander, what does this mean in the bylaws? You make a decision on it. Somebody can appeal that decision at every level. So at your level, the post commander decides all questions of law and usage. At the district level, it's the district commander. At the department level, it's the department commander. At the national level, commander-in-chief. But all of those decisions are subject to appeal. So know that. If you're a good post commander, you get your adjutant to tell them they can't do that. All right? Because if the adjutant says, hey, you can't do that, and the guy feels aggrieved, can he appeal the decision of the adjutant? No. He's got to come to the post commander and say, post commander, your adjutant told me this crap. He told you that? I'll have some strong words with him.
Good job.
Yeah, exactly. Appoint officers and committee chairs that are called for. That's in section 216 and your post bylaws. Your post bylaws may have additional committees that you need to fill once you assume the position of post commander. All right. You approve all disbursements of funds. This is probably the biggest PIA in our organization. Because everybody trusts the quartermaster, right? Honest Pete over there, he's always, yeah.
I'm married to mine, trust me.
You're married to your quartermaster.
It's a family thing.
I almost said you could supervise the deposits too, but I don't want anybody to think I'm getting funny here. Let me fix my damn glasses. And just like that. Okay. Approve all disbursements of funds. Must be properly approved by the post. Who can expend money at the post level? Only the post membership. They can do that several different ways. The post can adopt a budget. Say, hey, here's our budget. Once this budget's approved, the quartermaster can disperse funds all they want. They can do it through general rules, general orders, whatever you want to call them.
SOP.
Beginning of every year, somebody stands up, I make a motion that the quartermaster be allowed to pay all housekeeping bills. The electricity, the water, the trash, the mortgage, all of those reoccurring bills that come in. Okay? Make sure that's documented. It's a general rule. Some of y'all may have something in your bylaws that says any veterans that come in needing assistance, the quartermaster will give them $40 or have the authority to take them and put them overnight in a hotel room, whatever your specific needs are. But it has to be authorized by the post and it needs to be documented. All right? This is to prevent the commander or the quartermaster or both from spending money however they want. It has to be authorized. Many of you probably have something in there that talks about emergency repairs. I think the best one I saw was, we're approving the commander to spend up to $50 for emergency repairs in case the AC units go down. $50 wouldn't even cover the service technician to come out and look at it. All right? So, but it was in their bylaws. He could do that. All right? There's all kinds of different ways the post can approve the expenditure of funds and have it, but they should be renewed every year. That should be at that first meeting with that new commander, that new staff. Have a list of them. All right? Okay. You can also use, it says to use a voucher system or a payment order. I don't know what your voucher system is. You can create your own voucher system. When I was the state adjutant quartermaster in Texas, I would write the checks and I'd get that bank statement. I'd send a copy of my bank statement and a copy of my journal to the state commander, and he would go through, he would check each one. At the bottom I had a thing that says, I have hereby authorized the expenditures as this is our voucher system for the Department of Texas, and he'd sign his name, and boom. So now I was covered, he was covered, and it's the same at every level, post level, district level, state level, all right? How you decide what your voucher system is, some of y'all must have dual checks. But I'm gonna tell you, we frown on signing blank checks, all right? There's a reason why I'm not a quartermaster anymore. Just give me a signed blank check. I'll make a donation to the National Home, National Veteran Services, whatever, and it may be for an amount you may not have enough in your bank. So, everybody, that's supposed to be funny. You guys need to laugh more. Come on, y'all take this stuff too serious. All right. Voucher system payment order. You guys have to figure that out. What is your voucher system that your trustees can look at and say, yes, this was good, this was not. You must assure that your quartermaster is bonded. Everybody know why we want to bond that quartermaster? Because every now and then we get one that infiltrates and they decide that money's their money. Okay? We see it in the newspaper. In fact, there was one from Oregon, the state quartermaster for the American Legion. Maybe it was Idaho. Ran off with like $800,000. You see it in the newspaper. Veterans steal funds. I'm disappointed he did this. I've known this man 50 years. He's honest as the day is long till you give him money, right? You bond that quartermaster in case something bad happens. And this way you have an opportunity to get that money back. The bonding company will require you to file criminal charges though. You don't file criminal charges because you know it's the best quartermaster you ever had. So what if he needed that $30,000 to go gaming with? You know, he needed to have a relaxing time. We never gave him a day off or a vacation in the last 10 years. Y'all think that's interesting, but that's a true story I had from somewhere. All right. Assure that dues and monies that are paid that are owed or paid. Somebody owes money, or the post owes money, don't keep pushing it off. All right? Make sure they get paid as long as you have money to pay them. Because the quartermaster can say, hey, I only got 15 cents in the bank account. This is a $3 item. I can't afford to pay it. That's the only time you can't pay something. All right? Assure reports are correct and sent out. What reports? Trustees' reports are good ones. What about your committee reports? What about your VOD, your Patriot Pins? All those reports that the department requires you to verify that you did this so you can make All-State or you can make All-American. All of those different reports, all right?
990s.
990s are good ones. You got
Corporations.
reports you might have to send in to the bingo commission, to the TABC, or the alcohol beverage people, whatever your acronym in your state is for them. You must make sure the business of the post is handled without delay. All right, get on it. Make sure that adjutant and that quartermaster are doing their job, or whoever's been assigned to that. Make sure necessary licenses and permits are obtained. Okay? Properly completed election report by June 1st. Did you replace yourself or did somebody else replace you? I found that when you replace yourself, I always have a hard time getting those. But when you're going out, you got somebody else, you're the first one to fill it out and send it in. You're like, hey, I'm done. I found my replacement. Hardest thing to do in the VFW. You also want to make sure insurance is on there. Okay? Make sure your post is properly insured. Because what happens if you're operating without insurance and something happens? Who are they coming after?
Membership.
They're coming after that post commander first. All right, so it's in your best interest to make sure the post has the proper insurance. Make sure the trustees do their monthly review of the quartermaster and adjutant records, and then quarterly do that trustees report. You should make sure you have a copy of that report. All right, and a lot of people, a lot of posts say, well, the quartermaster fills out that trustees report, we just come in and verify it. That is not how it is supposed to work. The quartermaster should make those books available, and he should sit in a chair while the trustees are there, ready to answer any questions. And then the trustees fill out the report. The commander will then sign it. The quartermaster doesn't sign it at all. So if you're having your quartermaster fill out your trustees report, remember, honest day is long. Okay, good way to hide money. And I will tell you right now, we've had at least 2 incidences of quartermasters falsifying the bank statements. So I would also make sure that as the commander, you have access to at least bank statements so you can go online and check them, or one of your trustees. You don't need access to payments. You just need access to the bank statement so you can make sure the statements the quartermaster's given you are actually the bank statements that the bank sent. All right. Attend all properly called district meetings. So every time there's a district meeting, as post commander, you are required to be there. However, you can have someone attend in your place. Who'd be a good person to attend in your place?
Senior
Vice. What about the junior vice?
Good one, too.
Adjutant quartermaster, trustee, any member of the post. Any member of the post can represent you there if you cannot make it. If you fail to be there and you fail to have a representative there, what can happen? You can be removed from office. And I know some of you are like, oh, that's how I get removed? I ain't going any more of them district meetings. It's nothing but a waste of time. So, I'm sorry? After one. After one. Yeah, that's not a section 220. This is must attend all properly called meetings. So if you miss one meeting, they can have you. Everybody know Doc Schmitz, past Commander-in-Chief Doc Schmitz?
Yeah.
When he was the commander in the Department of New York, I think he relieved 58 post commanders in one weekend. Because they were all reported. Guess what happened that next time there were district meetings? Had 100% attendance. I don't know how that happened. But he removed them. He did. He said that's what the bylaws say. All right. Comply with and perform all duties required of the Congressional Charter, the national bylaws, manual and ritual, department, district, post bylaws, county councils. We don't really have any of those, and there's a few left. Lawful orders from proper authority, commander-in-chief, state commander, district commander, general orders, special orders. That's a lot of stuff you gotta read up on and know about and all of that stuff. It's not as difficult as it seems, all right? You know, how many of y'all read Cat in the Hat?
Yeah.
You got the specifics of that book, right? So when you had volume 2 of Cat in the Hat came out, it was easy to understand volume. There's not a volume 2, that's just something I'm saying. Somebody's like, really? I gotta go
Missed
look
that
that
one.
up on Amazon. It's not that difficult, all right? Give it a quick scan. All right, immediately appoint your adjutant, your chaplain, your service officer, and other positions as prescribed, okay? In the bylaws, in your post bylaws. And be sure to match the person to the job, as it directly impacts your overall performance as commander, all right? So if you've got somebody who's been doing it for a while, they're good at it, it's okay to keep them. If you got somebody else who really kind of obstinate about it, maybe you should find somebody else. It's also a good way to get some of your newer members involved. Give them something to do. Put them on a committee. Ask them to go research something. There's like 22 commemorative dates. Section 223 talks about Flag Day, Veterans Day, Iraq, end of the Iraq War, end of the Vietnam War, Desert Storm. Put a new member in charge of doing the public commemoration of that one event. If I'm a Desert Storm vet, so it would only, I do the Desert Storm at the national headquarters. We do all of these at our national headquarters. When I got up there, they weren't doing it. I'm like, that's crap, lead by example. So now every member of your department, of your national staff, follows those commemorative dates whether they want to or not, all right? So, and I do track it, so, you know, because I can be that way. All right, enforce observance of all laws and usages of the VFW. All right, so if somebody stands up and they start talking to you or wanting to make a motion, they don't do the military salute, what should you as commander do? Comrade, let me remind you that the ritual of our organization prescribes that when addressing the position of post commander, you should issue a military retort upon which I will return acknowledging that you have the right to speak. It's that simple. You gotta salute me, damn it! Salute me! I said salute me! Don't do that. All right? Because they'll turn around and walk out the door and you'll be sitting there saying, how come I ain't got no volunteers? Right? All right. Where are all my senior chiefs at? No senior chiefs in here?
Why is gotta be some chief? We don't trust those aides.
I'm sorry?
We don't trust those aides.
We don't trust those? I was going to say, senior chiefs, it's okay. You didn't make master chief. It's all right. You don't have to yell at people anymore, all right? So, all right. Study and become familiar with the congressional charter. I think I covered all that in the last slide. All right, decisions. You decide all questions in your post subject to appeal under section 109 of the bylaws. All right. Committee post issues. You have, let's talk about this. Commander has the right to temporarily ban a member from coming on to post property, but only till the next meeting. So sometimes that could be an hour. It might be 30 days. Every post has to have a meeting at least once a month, correct? You can temporarily ban them. Now, Commander, you have to inform the post membership why you banned them. You can also ask for the post to continue the ban. You can say, hey, it's been enough. I just wanted you to know I banned them. And then the post can decide whether to keep the ban or lift the ban. It's the post member's decision, all right? Now, as a member, if you're banned from coming onto your post, you can still attend meetings. It's one of your rights. So when they say you're banned from coming onto the property, it should be followed with, except for 5 minutes before and 5 minutes after the post meeting. You have the right to attend your post meetings. No ifs, ands, or buts about that, okay? Let's see. Members, you can appeal your decision. If you go to the post member or the post membership and you say, hey, he banned me because I dropped an F-bomb. I think a lifetime ban is excessive because I spend $3,000 a day down here. You're going to lose a great source of income. Post membership say, yeah, you're absolutely right, but as part of your punishment, you have to spend $4,000 a day. Not really a great example, but you know, you can appeal whatever that decision was. Non-members have no rights. So if you as a post commander tell an auxiliary member, get the hell out of my building, you're not coming back, that's it. Guess what they also have the right to do?
What do you-
Attend auxiliary meetings. And if that auxiliary meeting is at the post, they have the right to come onto the post. Generally, when we ban somebody, it's because they did something stupid in the canteen, right? That's what you're really banning them from. Can that non-member have a member of the organization advocate for them at the membership meeting? You bet. Could the commander bring that non-member in and have them address the members? They sure can, but they don't have to, all right? All right. 5 members for a quorum, everybody know that. You gotta have 5 members for a quorum. The way I like to say this is, I never invite new members to post meetings. Wrong thing to do. They don't know what's going on. Besides, I only want 5 people there, 2 of which have to agree with everything I say as post commander. Think how much business you could get done, right? Now, I want social events, and that's where I invite my new members. And you've got to be careful, because you never know when you're going to hook them, because they'll come from us, they'll bring their kids, they'll bring their wife, they're having a great time, and they're going to walk up to you and say, Chris, I really like what this post is doing. How can I be more involved? And you yank that hook and you say, I need a new quartermaster. Or a committee member, or I need you to do this or that. But you got to be willing to do that, because they bought the VFW. They bought your VFW. And that's how you get them involved in doing all those things, okay? Know in advance what business needs to be addressed. Be brief, be informative. Use your post-opening ceremonies, order business, closing ceremonies. We've got a traditional and a non-traditional style in there. Most posts I've been to, I've only seen one use the non-traditional or the abbreviated one. Y'all may have heard the commander-in-chief says VFW is almost like the Catholic Church. Our ritual is the same regardless of what post you go to, all right? I guarantee you, tomorrow at the joint opening, when the chaplain comes out, everybody's gonna stand up, take their covers off without being told or without following, just because it's a ritual that we all follow, all right? Because I know you're doing it at your post already, all right? Enforce the rules of decorum. We already know what those are. Parliamentary procedure, unruly members. All right, so let's talk about this. Robert's Rules talks about how to deal with unruly members. Basically, it's a pain in the ass doing it that way. If you go to Article 10 in our bylaws, it allows you to give a verbal warning. Comrade, I need you to sit down. You're being disruptive to the legitimate purposes of this organization. Boom, tell him to sit down. If he doesn't want to sit down, officer of the day, please escort him from the room. Do not let your officer of the day touch the gentleman or the individual, okay? Because that could be viewed as assault. Just tell him you got to leave. If he refuses to leave, just bang the gavel and say, we're in recess until law enforcement arrives and forcibly removes them. That's how you do that, all right? You can sit there and bang your gavel till they're quiet and tell them to sit down. I mean, you don't have to go through that whole process in Roberts. Here's the thing. If our bylaws say do it, our bylaws trump Roberts Rules. If there's a gray area, then you go to Roberts Rules. Does that make sense? Article 10 will be your friend as a post commander, all right? Some of it, I still don't know what a main motion is and a secondary motion is. I'll be very honest with you. I just fake it when somebody says, hey, I want to do this. I'm like, okay. That's what you want to do. I mean, all right. A motion and second for a frivolous motion to adjourn before business is conducted. You should rule the motion is ruled out of order for hindering the legitimate purposes of the meeting. You say it how you want. How many of us have had somebody say, I make a motion, we close, and you're only halfway through the opening? You bang the gavel and say, comrade, that motion's out of order. You're trying to hinder legitimate purposes of this meeting. Bang it, tell them to sit down and be quiet. All right. A motion and second to initiate disciplinary action. That motion is postponed till the next meeting, because what has to happen at that time is post commander has to appoint an investigating committee. Okay? Got to find out what happened, all right? That committee will report back to the post, and then the post will pull it off, and then they'll vote on, yes, we're going to initiate the disciplinary action, or we're not. You have to have that investigation, though, prior to doing this, all right? A motion and second to surrender the charter. You want to have some fun? Go to a post meeting, stand up. I make a motion, we sell our post and split money. See what happens. Everybody starts looking around. What? Can we do that? It's illegal? It's that? Just have some fun with it. See what happens. All right? It's immediately postponed, and the commander will immediately send a list of all assets and liabilities to the state commander, and the post shall not dispose of any assets, because each member must receive notice of the proposal at least 10 days prior to the meeting where the vote will be held, and the state commander must receive written notice at least 30 days prior. Makes it a little difficult to do it that next meeting, right? The state commander will be immediately informed of the outcome of the post vote. Pending cancellation of the charter of the post will not dispose of any property. So if you make a motion to sell your post or surrender your charter, you can't just start giving away assets. Give away your assets first, then close the post. Everybody understand that? I would ask that if you're going to give away your assets, at least give to the organization that allowed you to raise them. All right? Because I've seen posts close. They gave $100,000 to the dog pound, but then they gave $1,000 to the military assistance program. Really? Come on. Enforce applicable general rules listed in the ritual. So one of the first pages of the ritual's got a whole bunch of general rules. One of them says you must sing the Star-Spangled Banner at all openings of the post and district. Is that an Article 9 enforceable offense? I'll come defend you, because I've never sung the Star-Spangled Banner at one of my post meetings. All right? And I have some of my staff looking at the general rules for next year, maybe modify or get some of that removed, all right? Enforce applicable general rules listed where one rap of the gavel calls attention. Sometimes you're going to have to do that repeatedly, because we know we all like to sit around and talk. Here's a good one. All posts should hold a public memorial service for their departed comrades at least once a year. Okay? And this can be a special ceremony or in conjunction with a public meeting. You say a public meeting, oh my God, how can we have a public meeting? They're not members of the organization. How many of y'all been to a installation ceremony of a state commander? There are auxiliary members in the room? You bet. Your post, and there are some great benefits from this. If you announce that your post is having a public ceremony for departed veterans over the last year, you'd be surprised how many people come out to that. You should have those silent recruiters walking around. Hey, you're a member of the VFW? Sign up here. It's like crack. Once you sign up, you can never get away. All you're going to do is give me more and more money. You get my emails, right? You give me money, me love you long time, all right? All VFW military formations and procedures shall conform with the current infantry drill regulations of the United States Army. Navy, sorry, they don't have drill regulations in the Navy. All right,
So fake it.
fake it till you make it, right? The military salute shall be given in all ceremonies and meetings when a member wishes to address the commander or the presiding officer. The military salute shall also be used in ceremonial work as set forth. Okay? I already talked to you about the official caps. I already talked to you about that. All right. Questions? This is down and dirty. Come up to the mic, if you will. Go ahead and you can line up. Nobody's going to throw anything at you, I promise you. No. Yes, comrade.
Hello, I'm Marilyn from Michigan.
Hello, Marilyn from Michigan.
Everybody. As far as the committee goes, does it depend on who the problem, or who's the discipline that we're doing? So like if it's like a quartermaster, would I need to go outside the board to have the special investigation committee?
Okay, you're talking about disciplinary actions or some type of punitive action issued by the post or by the post canteen.
Right.
Two different things. All right, some of you have post canteens and they may want to investigate incidents that happen within the canteen itself. By all means, they could do that. That's a completely separate thing unless it's a member of the post. If it's a non-member, do non-members have rights in the VFW post? No, you can lower the hammer on them, all right? If they're a member of the post though, they need to make a recommendation to the post that this member violated this rules, this canteen investigation committee came up with this. Does the post want to? And then the post can agree to do that, boom, that's it. Now, if it crosses over into Article 9 disciplinary action because of what they did, that's a completely separate action, and the post commander can then use the investigative committee of the canteen, or he can appoint his own if he wants to. Does that help answer your question, Marilyn from Michigan? Yes? All right, good.
Jeffrey McKenzie from Post 9832, Mississippi, Jackson. Question is, when it comes to post contracts, obligating the post to spend funds, is that part of the membership's duty to approve contracts, or can the post commander automatically approve contracts on his own?
Okay, so that all authority rests with the post membership. So if the post membership has directed the post commander to find the cheapest trash collection system out there and sign a contract with them, then the commander would sign it because he's been authorized by the post. The post can come back and say, Commander, we'd like you to get 3 bids, bring those 3 bids to the post, present to the post, or even have those bidders come in and present to the post, and then we will make the decision at the post level itself. Once the post makes the decision, then it's the commander and the adjutant,
Quartermaster.
the commander and the quartermaster. Thank you, Chris. The commander and the quartermaster will then sign that contract.
But if he's not given sweeping authority to go out and obligate the post to any contracts, he has to bring, well, all those contracts have to come before the post.
That is correct.
Thank you.
So when he goes out and buys that point of sale system that's got that video surveillance system on him, and the quartermaster says, well, it's my job to keep an eye on him, no, it's still gonna go through the post, all right? Thank you, sir.
I heard Commander 1466 Nelson Oklahoma. Question deals with bonds. When you get a bond for a commander and quartermaster, and on the front sheet of the bond, what goes in the name block? Does the name of the commander go in there, or just like Larry Hurd? Or does it say the position commander?
Okay,
Same
so
quartermaster.
you're gonna have to work with your bonding company, but I will tell you there's 2 types of bonds in the VFW. There is a position bond, and then there is a specific, what we would call a by person bond. Bylaws say the quartermaster has to be bonded, not the position of the quartermaster. So if the commander in this case is an additional person because you're handling funds under the auspices of the quartermaster, then you would need to put your name. You could also put that position in there because it's not a position required to be bonded by our bylaws. The quartermaster, though, has to be by name. So if you're the quartermaster, your name has to be in there. If you're the commander, your bylaws don't require it, then it's just a matter of putting the commander's position in there, because commanders can change throughout the year. But the quartermaster has to always be bonded by name.
Okay.
That help?
Yes, sir.
All right, any other questions? I know the hour's getting late, everybody wants to go to the party, so.
I'll keep it short, hopefully. Again, Marty Eulendorf, adjutant at post 4548 in Jacksonville, Arkansas. And my question regards DD 214s, and if this is not the right form, please tell me. Are we required to hold those DD 214s in perpetual?
Okay, are you
Hard
required?
copies.
So, here's what our post bylaws say, is that you must maintain on file proof of eligibility for all elected and appointed officers of the post. The IRS says you must maintain on file all original applications for membership in the post. Two different things here. Most people will take and staple a copy of proof of eligibility to an application, and now they put that in their filing system. They can do that. However, because many times those 214s will have PII or personally identifiable information, you need a 2 lock and key system. A lock and file cabinet and a lock in office at a minimum, okay? You are not required to keep all of those 214s, only the ones of the current elected and appointed officers. But you do have to maintain all of the original applications for membership into the post.
Okay, one thing, when I first started this, I was told that I'm in District 13, wanted us to become digitized. So I have kept all the applications, but I've also scanned them to a SharePoint. Our share drive. Once that's done, can I now get rid of the hard copies because I have an electronic copy? Now that, granted, I can't tell you if they're originals or if they're copies because they've been scanned.
Okay, so
Am I getting?
there's no need for you to keep the hard copies. I would contact that member and say, hey, I've got a copy, would you like it back? I will tell you this, how many of you have been approached by a widow at your post because a veteran recently passed away and they needed to see if they had a copy of their 214 there? Sometimes that helps, sometimes it doesn't. There are good reasons to keep hard copies or even digital copies. Let me say this, if you're going to keep copies, you should redact all but the last 4 numbers of the Social Security number. If there's information in there about medical issues, you should probably redact that as well. You can do that. I know it says anybody who alters this form is subject to criminal prosecution and penalty, but there's legitimate reasons for redacting some of that stuff. I would also make sure wherever you digitize this, that's safe and secure, because we don't want somebody getting into your SharePoint thing, downloading those 214s, then assuming somebody's identity, only to have that person come back and sue the post.
It's a share drive, there's only the commander, the adjutant, and the quartermaster that have access to it. So,
You ever heard of WikiLeaks?
but okay.
I'm just giving you a cautionary tale. If you've got your security in place, great. You got a whole list of questions there.
No, sir.
Oh,
But
come
when
on, I'm ready.
Are all members required to take the oath? Because I'm getting 2 different stories.
Yes.
I'm saying yes, they have to, and I'm saying no, they don't have to.
All
They don't
members
want
are
to.
required to take the oath. Some members have never taken that oath and they've been in this organization 20 years. So, but yes, they all are required to take it. Sometimes my post, once every 2 years, but we will do at a random meeting, everybody will stand up and we'll just do the oath again. I know other posts, like once a month or once a quarter, they will send out notifications saying we're having an oath ceremony for all those who couldn't take their oath. So they'll have a special ceremony and they'll have all of the members do their oath that way. So every member is required to take the oath.
May I ask if that's in writing anywhere?
Yeah, it's in the bylaws. It says right there, every member must take a membership oath. It's on the back of the application. And if whoever's telling you this doesn't agree, dwest@vfw.org. I will gladly send it to you in an email form that you can print and then staple to their forehead.
Thank you.
You bet. It also helps if you use a 10-penny nail gun.
Really drive it in.
Yes, comrade.
Good evening, Evelyn Fletcher from, Comrade Evelyn Fletcher from Jackson, Mississippi.
Hello, Evelyn.
Post 9832. I have, I guess, 2 questions. One question is, does all posts operate under nonprofit?
Okay. Do all posts operate under a nonprofit?
Yes.
So,
Nope.
I am not an attorney. The selection of attorneys should not be done by advertisement alone, but here's what I do know. Yes, our bylaws or the IRS guidelines for veterans organization clearly states that you have to operate under the parent company, which would be your department. So if your department is a 501c19, you should be a 501c19. Many of our posts started out as 501c4s, all right? 501c19s were created specifically for veterans organizations to allow us to do things other nonprofits cannot do. Are there some posts out there that are still a 501c4? Yes. I believe the entire state of Delaware or Maryland is, I'm not sure. And are there some out there that are 501c3s? Yes, there are a few individual ones out there, but they should be encouraged to come back. Now, real fast, because you asked this question, what's the difference between a nonprofit and a for-profit? How many of you think a nonprofit means you have to give away all your money? How many of us would agree that for a nonprofit to thrive, they have to make a profit?
True.
The IRS has defined the difference. The difference is a nonprofit, the proceeds cannot inure to the benefit of the stockholders.
Members.
So at the end of the year, if you got $100,000 left over, you just can't cut checks to all of the members and say, here's how much money we made. You have to designate what it's used and use it for the good of the public or the all or whatever. Does that make sense? Does that help answer your question?
Somewhat.
All right.
So should there be a balance, a great balance with you saying that?
Should there be a what?
A balance, so you saying what the money is gonna be used for. So just say a post have $50,000 at the end of the year,
Right.
and they carry that money over to
Sure.
to the next year?
They can carry that money over as long as they want. You'll find you can put them in like the relief fund. Relief funds carry, some of them carry large balances of several $100,000. That's to assist needy veterans, okay? You could say, we want a new post in 15 years, so create a new post development fund, or you want to put it in a VOD scholarship fund or wherever. So yes, you can certainly keep all that money. You don't have to give it away. I will say this, the IRS requires you to do community service. So do the community service. Part of your community service can be to donate funds to certain causes. I've always held the belief that you raised those funds or got those funds because of the initials VFW. So at least 51% of the funds you donate should probably go to VFW programs. Does that make sense?
It does.
Doesn't have to. I can't come shut you down if you give it all away to the dog pound. But I will definitely make you an example and advertise it. That makes sense. Does that help answer your question?
It does.
Did it help
Your
answer the
email address
partial?
is dwest@VFW.
D West Delta Whiskey Echo Sierra Tango at VFW.org, not net. I think that's a porn site, but may or may not have a likeness of me on there, so.
Second question, when contracts are, and this is one of my comrade questions, so I'm gonna ask it without him having to come back up. When contracts are granted, through the post, who has visibility of those contracts?
Who has what?
Visibility of those contracts?
Visibility.
Who can review?
Every member of the post should be able to view that contract.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Thank you. Was that bad? I mean, I know the first time I got up and asked questions, like, I don't know what I'm doing. It's not that bad. We're all comrades here. You know, one thing I like about this organization, if I went down, all the combat medics and corpsmen would self-identify by jumping over everybody to get to me. You ever seen that? It's an amazing thing watching them work. I love it. They make house calls. Yes, sir.
Comrade Dusty Rhodes from Vine Grove, Kentucky.
How you doing?
Question for you. If we have an auxiliary member that's having trouble in our post, do they have the same rights as a VFW member? If they have punitive problems going on, they come to your post and start trouble.
So The auxiliary members are not members of the VFW, and they have no rights at the post. Even if they're a member of the post auxiliary, they still have no rights at the post, other than to attend their meetings. Now, if you know enough about the law, you know to say, well, not only are you banned, but have asked the police to issue a criminal trespass warning against you, which prevents you from even coming onto the building. So use Zoom or some other source to attend your post meetings. Or I can take the auxiliary charter, because the auxiliary bylaws say the auxiliary will meet where the charter hangs. I put mine out on a telephone pole one time.
Cold.
That's what I thought, that's what I want to verify.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
Any other questions? It was a joke, all right?
We got it. We knew it was a joke.
It was a joke. Although I did tell a district president once, my post is just one big room like this.
Okay.
So VFW met in one corner, auxiliary met in the other, and my wife at the time was the auxiliary president. We had a couple little kids. And they were at a table coloring. They weren't being loud or anything, and this Hitler Sue came in. You gotta get them kids out of here. You can't have kids during our meeting. My wife started crying. What happens if your spouse starts crying?
You're going to defend that.
Well, that's a declaration of war. I went over and I said, what's wrong? You gotta get them kids. Well, those are my kids. Well, you still gotta get them out here. They can't be in here. I said, how about you just leave? Well, I'm a district president. I don't give a rat's ass. Get your... You almost got me. I'm telling you. And she goes, well, I refuse to leave. I said, fine. I went over, picked it up. Yes, I have a lady here with a gun waving it around. I have kids here. I need her removed from my property. You can't say that about me. Get the hell out of my post. Police showed up. And anyway, we became great friends after that, but any other questions? Comrades, I certainly appreciate you taking your time out of your busy lives and schedules to come here today. Y'all go out, have some fun, enjoy the hospitality rooms and all that good stuff, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.